everyone, welcome or welcome back to another video. My name is Rupketa Bhattacharjee and you're watching my channel which is named after me because I lack creativity. So I normally do not make videos about books that I did not read from the first page to the last page. But this book irritated me so much that I thought that I deserve this. I deserve to rant about my feelings about this book in a video even without finishing it. And as you have already guessed from the title, the thumbnail and everything, what this book is, it's Normal People by Sally Rooney. The thing is, everybody lied to me about this book. My own friends told me that it's going to be exquisite. Booktubers that I like to watch loved it. Reviewers on Goodreads couldn't stop leaving 5 stars every time Sally Rooney even published her grocery list. And I went in expecting to read a masterpiece. Spoiler alert, it was nothing but trash, and let's just discuss more about it. Firstly, Normal People, as the name suggests, is about normal people. But the thing is, none of the people in this book are either normal or even proper people. They are completely one-dimensional. Before I even start ranting, I'll tell you something about the synopsis of this book. So this book is about Marianne and Connell, two people who have known each other since childhood. They go to the same school. Marianne is introverted, nerdy, she doesn't have any friends, she is not very popular, and Connell is the school star. But they do have their own personal problems, things that bridge them even more. Marianne is rich, comes from a wealthy family, whereas Connell's mother is a maid who works at Marianne's house. These differences don't hold them apart, as the similarities are far more bigger, and they find themselves attracted to each other, and this attraction leads to something more in the future when there's like tons of time gaps, they go to college and etc. So yeah, that's the synopsis. It sounds promising, it has some potential, I know, I thought so too. Now let's just talk about the people of this book, the characters. Now, as the synopsis tells you, Marianne is not liked by many people at her school. The book tells you the same thing. The thing is, the author does not even share why Marianne is not well liked. Number 1, Marianne is rich. Number 2, she is intelligent. Number 3, she is white, skinny, blonde. There's really nothing about her that will make people hate her instead of love her, render her an outcast, because nothing about her screams outcast. There's no particular reason for her to be an outcast, and the book does not really elaborate more on the thing. It's just driven to the reader. The point has been driven home, like the author is throwing this at you, like Marianne, she is ugly but she is beautiful, she is not very intelligent but she is very intelligent. We do not know why the people hate her, but they do hate her. It is very infuriating because this book completely disregards the show don't tell rule, because whatever Sally Rooney does is just tell you stuff. There is no elaboration, there is no explanation, there are no reasons that exist in this world. On the other hand, Connell is pretentious. He is not like other guys. He is quiet and he likes Marianne, but he is not willing to be seen with her in public. Again, not really explained, because that again leads back to the original point that Marianne is disliked in school, but why is she disliked? We do not know. There are also some elaborations about how Marianne has had a bad family life growing up, but then again the author does not elaborate on this. People just do things for the sake of doing things in her book. Secondly, the plot. The thing is, there is no plot. Yes, there just is no plot. These are just scenes with a completely non-linear narrative, and it's completely up to the reader to string them together and decide which part goes where. The headings of these chapters, have stuff written like 3 months later, 5 months later, or 6 months later, which indicate its place on the timeline after the previous chapter, like it makes a lot of sense. But the thing is, even these chapters with a fixed timeline have flashbacks to a different time. So again, it's completely up to the reader to even understand or make sense of the timeline, because overall it's confusing. And third, the writing style, prose, grammar, etc. That is the worst part of this book, because firstly, Sally Rooney completely disregards the use of quotation marks as if they do not exist on her keyboard. Secondly, her prose is filled with weird verbs like seemingly simultaneously. How does that even work? Or there's another sentence about how someone takes a sigh and tries to stop it by inhaling the air, but it still ends up sounding like a sigh. I mean, how does that even work? I mean, when you sigh, you exhale. And when you inhale, which is doing the opposite of sighing. So how does one's intake of air sound like exhaling? It does not really make sense. Thirdly, overall, this book was extremely poorly written. There has to be some rounds of editing. There were scenes that really did not add anything to the novel. If you look in your own social circle, real life, you will find people who behave exactly the same way Cornell and Marianne do. Pretentious and really have no personality except for the books that they read. Because overall, these characters are just 2D. They have no personality traits except for each other. They have no likes or dislikes except what they feel for each other. And even their own feelings, they really do not know what they feel. And most of the time, the author just fails to provide imagery. This book goes through the white room syndrome, in which two people who are talking in a scene in the book, and you don't really know where this scene is taking place. In your head, you can as well as imagine a completely white room, and it will work. This book has a severe case of white room syndrome. The author fails to provide anything substantial through her writing. Her writing, as a turn of phrase, lacks emotion. Metaphors are brought up. An effort is made to link that metaphor to what is happening on scene. The metaphor does not fit into place. The metaphor is discarded. There are ideals brought up like feminism, communism, etc. But really, these people are not willing to even act on their own ideals. These things are brought up, discussed for no reason at all, unprompted, and then discarded as the narration seems fit, even if it does not fit into the scene, or even if its discardment is sudden, abrupt, and breaks the pacing of the novel. In terms of pacing, just like there is no plot, there is no pacing. Some scenes are short, written abruptly, breaks the flow of the book. Some scenes are longer and seem to continue for over and over and over. Some scenes can barely be called scenes because they even lack the substance that is required. Sometimes the characters have arguments that are never resolved, just thrown away. These people, they don't behave like people do. They are not normal. A relationship is definitely the last thing either of them need, because to be normal people, they have a lot of work to do. One of them being to get a better writer. Overall, this book, I definitely do not rate a book that I have not finished. But if I do finish this book in the future, I don't see myself rating it more than 1 star. Overall, this was completely the worst book I have ever attempted reading in my entire life, and I have been reading since I was like 5 years old, so that's like 9 years of reading. Yeah, definitely the worst book that I have ever read until now. I don't see myself reading anything more by Sally Rooney in the near future, though I do own another of her books, which is her new release, Beautiful World, Where Are You? If I do ever read Beautiful World, Where Are You?, I'll be sure to record my misery and my own devastation while reading so you can enjoy it for your enjoyment. So that was it for today. That was my entire rant about Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, Where Are You? I don't even know if you could actually make out what I was trying to say, or if I was beating around the bush a lot, which I tend to do. So yeah. Thanks for watching this video. Be safe during this pandemic. If you like this, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and do all those funky stuff. Don't forget to comment as well, and go watch my other videos because they might be entertaining to you. Again, thanks for watching. Be safe during this pandemic, and goodbye.